To get us started, there's a little bit of housekeeping that we need to do. Nothing really difficult, but one thing that I try not to do in my training is overwhelm you with every single, menu option that's available and, every way that you can do something. So, but to get started, I want to give you kind of an overview of the interface just so that you're familiar with the different areas and terminology that you might hear. And just so you can get around in the application. First off, across the top right here, we have the menu bar, and each one of these has tasks that are kind of categorized in whatever the menu title is. So in other words, the file menu, everybody's familiar with the file menu. Just about every Windows application has that. This has to do with, things that you would do to files. The edit menu, things that you would do to edit something, and so on. So view, lots of options here for changing your view. Go, this is like a quick launch area where we can get to a specific type of feature like our tasks or our notes. All of this, though, is available in other different ways. So you don't have to click go and select something from here. Tools, actions, and help. Okay, this is the menu bar. We'll be dealing with some of this stuff throughout the training. Then we have a toolbar, and this toolbar is context sensitive. That means that it'll change. It's dynamic. So depending on the specific task that we're working with, you'll see it change. For example, if I switched over to contacts, then you would see that the icons that are on the toolbar totally changed. They're now something different. So let's go back to mail. The next thing would be the reading pane. This is over here to the right. This is where if you've got a message selected, the contents of that message will show up here. Now, this is not the only way that you can view something, because sometimes we've got a message that might be pretty big and we might want a little bit more space. In that case, you can double click on the message and then you've got a little bit more. Let's go ahead and make this window larger. You've got a little bit more room for reading. Okay, we'll get a little bit more into that later on. But this is the reading pane or preview pane. And then in this case, we've got our inbox, because that is selected over here on the left in the navigation pane. And if we move around here, you will notice the contents of that changes as well. Okay, right now we're on the inbox. That's when you're doing email, that's where you're usually going to be. That's where you usually find yourself. I happen to use folders a lot to sort things in the navigation pane here, and that's just because it kind of makes it easier for me to keep things keep track of things, because I tend to keep emails from years ago. I don't know why, but I think maybe someday I might use it. So I categorize things in folders that way, and I store them that way. But then I've mentioned the navigation pane over here on the left. This lets you not only go through the folders that are in this specific Outlook account, but also if we want to get around to different features in Outlook, like for example the calendar, just point and click, contacts, tasks, and back to mail. So everything over here on the left, this is the navigation pane, and you can get rid of this if you want to. If, let's say that you're going to be in the inbox, and this is, after all, taking up quite a bit of space right here. So if I want to shrink that down, you can click this double left arrow here, and that shrinks it down. Now, it's still available, it's still accessible, and a lot of the things that we could do before, we can still do. For example, I can still click on calendar and shoot over to the calendar. I just get a lot more room now. And let's go back to email. And also over here on the right, we have the same type of situation with the to-do bar. Notice it's got a little arrow there, double arrow at the top. Click on that, and we can expand that out, and that shows us everything that we've got lined up. This is our to-do bar. We've got a series of tasks here, and they're sorted by priority, and it looks like I'm way behind, so I'm going to have to get busy on some things. But let's go ahead, minimize that again, and I will bring the navigation pane back out to full size. So that's the basic layout of Outlook. Up next, we'll take a look at a new feature to the Office 2007 software suite, and that is the ribbon.